The former Atlanta police officer accused of killing Rayshard Brooks is getting some big legal support. The Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund announcing it is going to support Rolfe when it comes to paying his legal fees. Nick Sturdivant is live outside the Atlanta Police Department headquarters. Nick, what did this group's president say about this decision here?
Good morning, Sheba. He believes Rolfe was wrongly charged, and that's the reason why the nonprofit decided to step in. Just to give you some background on that nonprofit, the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund is a national nonprofit based in Virginia where they research cases they believe officers have been wrongly charged. The president of the nonprofit talked to us yesterday and said what happened to Rayshard Brooks was a tragedy, but he does not believe it was murder. In reviewing the video from that night, he says he believes Rolfe acted appropriately and that the district attorney rushed to judgment when filing those charges.
It's very, very important, no matter what anyone's perspective on policing or where policing is in this day and age, to understand that you really have to actually investigate what happened with all available evidence before you can make a decision about whether it's warranted to take that kind of disciplinary action or whether it's warranted to pursue criminal charges.
And Sheba, he says he's been working with Rolfe's legal team, and Rolfe is expected to be in court on Tuesday.